G'day guys and gal, there are a lot of very powerful demons in Warhammer 40k. Kairos Fateweaver, Scarbrand, Be'lakor, the list goes on. However, time and time again, these demons have proven to just be a bunch of tough punching bags. Scarbrand has had his ass whooped by about half the Primarchs at this point, with Kairos being easily smacked by a weakened, sharded form of Magnus, not to mention the time the Lion did him in as well. Don't even get me started on how many times Be'lakor has been dumpstered. But did you know that there is a demon that is so powerful that he is basically a god? A demon who required the full attention and power of three of the most powerful Space Marine legions to overcome, led by their Primarchs, and even then they barely won, suffering massive casualties in the process. The power of this demon was unlike anything else, but shockingly, barely anyone knows of him. His name is Madail, and he is Chaos Jesus. Before we get started, in Australia, Father's Day is rapidly approaching. Now I know most of you aren't Australian, but I don't give a shit because I am. To celebrate this, Manscaped are offering a brand new value bundle that is applicable for every father out there. The Handyman and Weed Whacker 2.0 bundle. The Handyman is my second favorite piece of Manscaped hardware. It absolutely destroys neckbeards without the need of shaving cream or aftershave, while also being easy to transport and very durable. The Weed Whacker 2.0 sends nose hairs to the Shadow Realm. You can justify face hair, chest hair, man, even bowl hair, but nobody looks better with long nose hairs. This bundle by itself is awesome, but remember there is still the legendary Lawnmower 5.0, the perfect shaver for everything below the neck. The body wash and deodorant, which has this distinct, very manly smell. The only real way to describe the smell is to say, yep, that's a man. You'll know what I mean when you try it. These products and many more are available right now to get you groomed and smelling your best. So to get 20% off and free international shipping store-wide, then use my link below. Cheers to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over the lore of Madail, discussing his origins, what he got up to in the lore, how powerful he was, and how he was finally vanquished, as well as why no one ever seems to talk about him. Let's get into it. Madail was one of the exceedingly rare demons of Chaos Undivided, demons that are empowered by all four Chaos gods and are given exceptional levels of free will, so as long as they're progressing the goals of Chaos in some way. As the Chaos gods are almost forever at war with each other, it's not often that they agree to or work towards the same plot. Thus they require demons of Chaos Undivided. Because of this, Madail's demon hosts included demons from all four Chaos gods, bloodletters fighting side by side with Keepers of Secrets, backed up by Plague Bearers and Lords of Change, and so on. It also means his abilities and potential was significantly enhanced beyond other demons. However, as he was an undivided demon and Chaos has been divided for so long, he was trapped in the warp, unused. This was until the Horus Heresy, where Chaos came together with the sole goal of destroying the Emperor, the only true threat to them in the galaxy. They enacted a scheme to bring Madail back. Because of the nature of Madail's power, they couldn't just throw him back into the ring like a Pokemon. They had to do it the good old-fashioned way. Chaos activated various beacons on the planet Pythos, which lured an Iron Hand strike cruiser to it. The beacons on Pythos tempted the Iron Hands, as when they used them, they could unveil the location of enemy ships in surrounding regions, hence allowed the Iron Hands to launch devastating ambushes on their traitorous kin. That was the lure. The beacons also lured the entire populace of Davin, a corrupted world full of Chaos cultists, which was also the planet where Horus fell to Chaos. Pythos was also full of gigantic monsters that were powerful enough to kill Space Marines. The plan was to use the entire populace of Davin, as well as the Space Marines, as well as the beasts of Pythos, as a blood sacrifice, to not only bring forth Madail, but also turbocharge him and give him an army. Unfortunately, the Iron Hands were manipulated into achieving this goal, as the Davinites turned on them, as well as the monsters of Pythos coming forward for an insane final battle. The leaders of the Iron Hands, Atticus, was a fucking badass. Reading about him made you feel genuine awe, as he seemed completely unstoppable and unbreakable. It felt like if anyone could take down Madail, it would be him. As he realized that Pythos was a trap, he ordered his ship to fire upon the beacons, but it was too late. The beacons absorbed the shots and then used the warp to kill his ship. Then all the demons and monsters and shit came forward and began killing his warriors. Madail himself came forth, so Atticus, with a few of his buddies from the Raven Guard, Salamanders and Iron Hands, said, "Let's fucking go, bitch. It's time to kill Demon Jesus." Madail killed all of his buddies, but when faced with Atticus, Atticus was actually able to inflict a permanent serious wound on Madail. But Chaos Jesus was too powerful and even killed Atticus. Madail then used the dead Iron Hand ship, called the Veritas Ferrum, to create his own gigantic super demon ship. A ship so massive it made Gloriana class ships, the flagships of the legions, look like small scout ships. Madail then struck out into the galaxy, attacking isolated Imperial worlds and turning them into demon worlds. He was nicknamed the Pilgrim, as he was more or less on a pilgrimage to turbo fuck everyone to death. Here's the insane thing though, whenever Madail corrupted a world and then moved on, that world would then create an impossibly insane structure that would make the entire system a blockade in the warp and in real space. For example, in In one system he visited, he made it so the planet was able to use the power of the warp to create a fortress wall that spanned millions and millions of kilometers, a fortress the size of a system, made from brass. Now there quite literally isn't enough brass in the galaxy, let alone the universe, to create such a structure. Well, maybe there is, but you know what I mean. Madail had managed to connect the warp to real space in such a way that it created infinite power and resource. The fortress wasn't just a wall though, it was covered in guns so large they could one-shot a starship, and it even had like a suction tube thing that could suck in starships and turn them into demon ships. I'll talk more about this fortress in a second. The Chaos Gods weren't entirely happy with Horus being their vessel and war master. He was fiercely independent, had his own agenda, and was hard for them to control, not to mention he wasn't as powerful as they would have liked. The Chaos Gods wanted Sanguinius to be their chosen one, the Angel of Ruin, so they tasked Madail with bringing Sanguinius to Chaos' side. When Sanguinius, the Lion, and Guilliman, who at the time were trapped in Ultramar on the wrong side of the Ruinstorm, which itself was a massive warp storm that made warp jumps and communication very hard, found out the Emperor was still alive and Terra still stood, they made a mad dash to try get through the storm. Their efforts were not providing much fruit, until the Lion spoke to his weird Xeno Navigator device and told it to take them to Terra. The device was like, I would, but there's a bunch of weird shit in the way. I can take you to each weird shit thingo, but you'll need to get through it before I can progress us further. Hence they were taken to the first weird thing, which was the Mega Fortress. It sucked in a few of their ships and destroyed a few more. With the entire combined fleet of 3 legions opened up with a barrage of world-ending weaponry that had the power to destroy a world 100 times over, they were shocked to see that despite it leaving a crater thousands of miles deep and thousands of miles across, it barely looked like a dent in the wall. However, they then discovered a planet below the fortress that was like a conduit that the fortress was growing from. Upon attacking the planet and destroying its demon forges, before then blowing the planet up, it cut off the fortress's connection to the warp, and since it was an impossible structure that needed the warp to sustain it, it dissolved away. The next obstacle was a system completely full of these gigantic structures, once again impossibly large, that due to their positioning, created a strange resonance that blocked warp travel. This one was easy to unfold. The Line simply blew up one of the planets which disrupted the resonance and caused warp travel to be doable again. This system had also been one visited by Madail. The last destination was Davin itself, the gateway to Terra, but Madail wasn't making this one easy. Every time they warp jumped, Madail would shadow them in the warp. Because of the nature of his ship, he could teleport around the Loyalist fleet, at one moment appearing as a speck on their radar, the next as a Goliath. It could fly in between their ships like smoke. For a laugh, it would just occasionally randomly destroy one of the Loyalist vessels, or blink out the Gellerfields and a few others, causing massive demon incursions. In one especially cruel moment, it shot Sanguinius directly with a blast of dark energy that instantly made him fall to the Black Rage. Sanguinius attacked his own warriors and was only stopped when his herald confronted him and snapped him out of it. When the Loyalists arrived on Davin, they discovered a massive bone structure surrounding the system, once again impossibly large. It represented everything that has ever died, skulls of all the races, the skeletons of cities, of entire worlds, even the death of concepts and ideals. Sanguinius was relieved to see that there was no bones of the Imperium in the structure yet. The Line wanted to just blow up Davin and move on, like last time, but Sanguinius felt like his destiny was on Davin, and he wanted to go to the surface. They have a tense as fuck standoff, but eventually Sanguinius, the Lion, and Guilliman go down to the surface. They enter the temple that Horus was corrupted at, and a portal manifests, a portal that Sanguinius enters. However, it is all a trap by Madail. Sanguinius is shown many visions, one of them being Madail pretending to be the Emperor, showing Sanguinius that if he submits to Chaos, they will let him defeat Horus and save his legion and father. Obviously, this is total bullshit, but the vision was pretty nice. It showed Sanguinius slaying Lorgar and forcing Perturabo to surrender to him. However, when Sanguinius rejects Madail, Madail ends the visions and has his demons pin Sanguinius to the ground while he yells at him to surrender. At the same moment, Madail unleashes his ship and fleet that were hiding in the bone structure upon the Loyalist fleet. The Loyalists are horrified to see that each ship in the fleet is actually a corrupted version of a Loyalist vessel that had gone missing since Isvan, as well as the ships the Loyalists had lost in their journey so far. It turns out that Madail had been ambushing Loyalist ships, killing them and then converting them into demon ships. A massive ship battle ensures, but is going poorly for the Loyalists, as every time one of their ships is destroyed, its corpse rapidly turns into a demon ship and attacks the Loyalist fleet. Madail's own ship, the gigantic Veritas Ferrum, also seemed immune from damage, able to heal from anything and constantly mutating to become deadlier. Even when it's hit with a whole salvo of cyclonic world-ending torpedoes, it manages to recover, although it did actually take some solid damage from that. The Lion and Guilliman begin beating the shit out of the portal Sanguinius went to, which weakens weakens and distracts Chaos, allowing Sanguinius to lose his shit and realize he's sick of being pinned down. He slaughters a bunch of greater demons with little effort and then engages Madail in a duel, inspired by the wound he sees on Madail that Atticus had previously inflicted. The duel is epic, both combatants unstoppable. Eventually, Sanguinius drags Madail back through the portal with a Lion and Guilliman awaiting, and the three Primarchs begin beating the shit out of Madail. The Lion cuts off one of his arms, Guilliman breaks another, while Sanguinius holds the demon. The only way to destroy Madail's ship is to destroy Davin. It's so powerful because it's literally soul linked with an entire world. Sanguinius wants to hold Madail here while they blow it up. However, Sanguinius' herald instead takes his place, tackling Madail into the portal before impaling him into the ground and holding him there. The heroic symbolism of the act turns the herald into the Sanguinor. He becomes one with the warp, so instead of burning up in its fire, he grows angel wings and becomes a beacon of light. All Madail could do was scream in agony, impaled as he was, as the bombs fell on Davin and blew it to smithereens. With the world gone, the power of the demon fleet vanished and they crumbled apart for the final time. It was predicted that within a few more minutes, the entire loyalist fleet would have been converted to demons, with 3 entire loyalist legions dying to the might of one demon. Now GW didn't really know what to do with Madail after this. He reappears during the Siege of Terror leading a demonic host, but he didn't really do much or displayed a crazy amount of power. They basically just name dropped him. I think they just wanted to name drop every demon that had been in the Horus Heresy, and we haven't heard of him since. I believe that after the Heresy, the Chaos Gods never really agreed or properly united again, so Madail has been kept locked away. You could also argue that he was directly empowered by the gods during his quest to corrupt Sanguinius, and when it failed, they removed a lot of that power from him, making him as powerful as a normal greater demon as opposed to being Demon Jesus. Either way, I've never seen a demon so powerful that it can cause impossibly vast, system-spanning superstructures to appear, or take on the combined might of 3 legions and their Primarchs and almost emerge victorious. Not to mention, its demon ship could quite literally be the most overpowered ship to ever exist in 40k. Like, if anything could take out the Phalanx, it would be that. The reason that most of you likely haven't heard of Madail until now is because his first appearance was in the Damnation of Pythos book, which is considered one of the most skippable Horus Heresy books, as well as the fact that the Ruinstorm book, which features Madail vs the Primarchs, is book 47 of the Horus Heresy. So basically, you have to be a fucking virgin nerd to know about him, or make knowing 40k lore your full-time job, or both if you're me. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then subscribe. We're at fucking 599,000 subscribers. Holy shitballs. Exciting things to come at 600k. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.